I'm Metro Realtor Alan, and one of the most common questions I get from first-time home buyers is, why is it so hard to find where to actually buy? And I get it, because one of the hardest parts is not financing. That's actually the easy part. The hardest part is, well, from my lifestyle, what city is the best place for me to buy? See, every city in Metro Detroit seems to get hyped up online. Every list says something different, and most of them, they ignore things like prices, taxes, and common trade-offs from one city to another. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the cities that first-time home buyers are actually buying in with realistic prices and not just fantasy numbers. And I'll be honest about who each city is for and who it's not for. If you're thinking about buying a home in 2026 here in Metro Detroit, download my 2026 First Time Home Buyers Guide. It's got tons of information, things like cost of living, schools, neighborhoods, and much more. It's going to be linked down in the description, so download that and let's get into the video. So, a quick disclaimer. Best doesn't mean perfect. Every city in this video has its own trade-offs. Price, inventory, taxes, commute, or lifestyle. So I'm not here to sell you on a city. I'm here to narrow the playing field so that you don't feel overwhelmed. So I want to start with Ferndale. It's one of our most popular first-time homebuyer markets here in Metro Detroit. Here are some of the reasons why. You get a walkable downtown, you get restaurants, coffee shops, nightlife, and because it's such a popular first-time homebuyer market, you get great resale demand there too. Now, if you're a younger buyer, this is where more of those younger buyers are going to be as well. Now, a realistic price range in 2026 in Ferndale for a condo or small home, you're looking somewhere around the mid 200. Now, to be honest, there aren't too many condos there, but small homes, you'll find plenty of them, and they're going to be priced around that range. Now, for a typical single family home in Ferndale, you'll be looking somewhere around 250 up to around 300, maybe a little bit more. So somewhere between high 200s to the low 300s. Now, some of the typical trade-offs, you do get smaller homes, 2-3 bedrooms. You might be looking at 1,000 square feet, sometimes less, sometimes more. So it really depends on exactly what you're looking for. But typically homes in Ferndale aren't going to be your 4 bedroom, 5 bedrooms. And that's fine if that's what you're looking for. And because Ferndale is such a popular market, inventory is kind of tight there. So you might find yourself, in the multiple offer situation. So let's be honest, if you're buying in Ferndale, you're paying a premium for the lifestyle. So what that means is Ferndale is great for if you want, lifestyle, if you want nightlife, if you want vibes, really. But it's not really a bargain market anymore. Can you find some deals? Absolutely. But it's not bargain bin stuff there. Now, typically after buyers look in Ferndale and they don't find anything that they like, they go straight to Hazel Park. Why? Because typically homes in Hazel Park cost a little bit less than that of Ferndale. It's also pretty close to I-75 and other job corridors. And one of the best things about the Hazel Park market is it's been going through revitalization for a couple of years now. So that gives you better affordability without you having to leave the area. Now, realistically, in Hazel Park, for a starter home, you'll be paying low to mid 200. But if you're willing to do a little sweat equity, you can actually get something pretty nice under $200,000 if you're willing to take those trade-offs. And those trade-offs, like I said, it's been experiencing a revitalization for the last few years. So it might be a little less polished than Ferndale. And Hazel Park is a relatively small market, so it's less amenities. And one of the more important trade-offs is if you're looking in the Hazel Park, values and common amenities, they vary block by block. So this is one of those location markets. So Hazel Park will work for someone who's looking for financial breathing room, like you want to be able to afford your house and food, because you're trading polish like you get in Ferndale for value. Next, I want to talk about one of the most overlooked markets in Metro Detroit, Southfield. And the fact that Southfield is so overlooked, it actually kind of surprises me sometimes. And here's why I like it. In Southfield, you get a central location, you get a large inventory, you get bigger homes for the price. That's more homes. You can find that 4 bedroom with the 2.5 bathrooms for a pretty decent price. And really good freeway access. You can get pretty much anywhere, Detroit, downtown. You can get into Hazel Park, pretty much anywhere from Southfield. East side, west side, doesn't really matter. Now, your price range in Southfield is actually quite competitive too. For a starter home, you're still looking at low to mid 200. And if you're looking for a larger home, you can still find one of those under $300,000 in some areas. Now, the trade-offs, because they're real, and I'll be honest, is you're not going to get that downtown energy in Southfield. And in some zip codes in Southfield, you might be paying higher property taxes than someone else in another zip code. And if you're looking for nightlife, you probably won't find it here in Southfield. Now, Southfield is great if you're looking for space, location, and affordability. Now, for one of the cities that I get asked about the most, Redford. I get asked a lot about Redford because it's just a practical market to live. You get affordable taxes, you get quiet residential neighborhoods, you get stable neighborhoods, and you get really good value for the money. And realistically, for a starter home, you might be paying somewhere around 180 up to around 240, 250, but those are move-in ready houses. So if you're willing to do a little bit of sweat equity, you can actually go lower than that. And the trade-offs are there, but it really depends on you to see how big of a deal they are. It's not the trendiest place to live. You don't really have much nightlife there. And I'm going to be honest, you need a car. If you're moving to Redford, you need a car. So if you're looking for a neighborhood that is quite predictable, stable, and affordable, Redford might be where you want to go. Now, the big one. I really think that this one needed its own category. And to be honest, I think this one needs its own video. Detroit. Detroit needs its own category because it's not just one market. Certain neighborhoods are popular for first-time home buyers because of price and long-term upside. Now, why do buyers consider Detroit? In some areas, you get extremely low entry point, and it's a housing market, so you still get that appreciation. And because of those low entry points, you get the opportunity to build equity faster. Now, realistically, for your nicer neighborhoods in Detroit, your entry range is going to be somewhere between, it's going to be under 200,000. You know, simply put, you're paying less than 200,000. Just say in your mind, $0 up to $200,000. That's going to be your range. And some people pretend like there are no well-kept homes in Detroit, but one, there are plenty. And you'll be able to find a well-kept home that you can just move in for less than $150,000 in a lot of markets in Detroit. Now, the trade-offs. In Detroit, you got to choose your neighborhood a little bit more carefully. And what that means is have that honest conversation with your real estate agent so they can point you to those neighborhoods that you want to be in. And make sure you take a little bit of extra time to explore those neighborhoods. If you're visiting, why don't you go ahead and drive around the neighborhoods that you like? Maybe you see a house on Zillow, get in your car and just do a quick little drive around. Trade-off number 2, insurance and taxes vary, sometimes by a lot. And trade-off number 3, a lot of these homes were renovated. The quality varies. I really recommend that you get an inspection. If the house is cheap and you're ready to go and you're thinking about skipping that inspection, don't skip that inspection, okay? Now, Detroit works for people who are, one, just willing to do your homework, all right? Okay, just do your homework on the city before you make any major moves. Now, in Detroit, be more strategic than emotional. You want to love your home. Just make sure you buy a home that makes it possible to love you back. And if you're serious about buying a home in the next 6 months, you can actually schedule a free, no obligation first-time home buyer strategy session with me. You and I will actually game plan how we can make your home ownership dreams come true. So, how do you choose the right city? Here's the thought process that I would recommend. Ask yourself, do I value lifestyle or affordability more? How long do I plan to stay? Do I want predictable costs or future upside? Am I okay with trade-offs, or do I want something more turnkey? There's no such thing as the right city, only the right city for your situation. Those are some of the best first-time homebuyer markets here in Metro Detroit. And if you're considering buying a home here in Metro Detroit in the next 6 to 12 months, go ahead, find the description where you'll see my free 2026 first time home buyers guide. It's got tons of information, things like cost of living, schools, neighborhoods, and much more. I hope you found this information valuable. I do look forward to answering any questions you might have. Go ahead and drop them in the comments, and maybe I might make a video about your question. This is Metro Realtor Alan, and I can't wait for the next video just for you.